Hello again. Working from the back porch, my office away from the office. This is another short clip where I'm just going to share some thoughts with you to use as you get through this response that we're all making to COVID-19. I want to talk today about anxiety, arousal, more specifically, how much do you have to worry? And to do that, I want to start off with stirring up probably some unpleasant memories from your Psych 100 class that you may have taken somewhere along the way, where you were asked to answer test questions about Yerkes-Dodson, the law, the principle that sort of shows the relationship between performance and arousal. And basically, to this hillbilly who became a therapist, I think of Yerkes-Dodson as basically saying there's a certain level of anxiety that will improve your performance on most any task. Not enough anxiety and you don't do as well. Too much anxiety and you don't do as well. I was told a long time ago by a basketball coach that you want your players to be psyched for the game. You want them to be up, but not too much. If it comes down to the wire, you got to send in your clutch players into a high pressure situation. You really don't want to send in the athlete who is really nervous, really anxious. You'd rather send in the one that is more calm. Just kind of, it's just another day at the office. I'm just going to go in and play the way I play. We think the idea there is that at some point the anxiety becomes too great and it occupies our mind and takes us away from the task. So there's a distraction. There's certainly a fatigue that comes with prolonged anxiety. And so if you're exhausted, you won't do as well. All right, Carl, great. What does that have to do with our response to the virus and how we're all going to get through this? I think it's important to keep in mind, the old piece of advice of, well, it could be worse, and generally I don't like that because it seems to dismiss the idea of the distress that you're feeling at the moment. Someone's saying, well, you could be more upset, so don't be upset. That's by itself, that's pretty upsetting. I prefer to think of, sure, it could be worse. It could also be better, but I don't have to make it worse. I don't have to make it more than it is. So what I'm getting at is kind of a mind frame where you accept what is going on. This is going on, and this is horrible, and this is terrible, and this is tolerable, and we can endure this, and we can get through this. We've never been through something quite like this in our country, but our country has been through very horrible times. We have been through world wars where there's been rationing. We have been in other kinds of health crisis situations where we needed to practice isolation. So, helping yourself only be as aroused or anxious as you need to be and not waste any of your energy being too anxious or too aroused. I want to share kind of a personal example of what I'm talking about. There was a time when my wife was in the hospital because of complications with a pregnancy. Our son had some complications to his development in utero, and the doctors essentially had my wife in a bed 24/7, trying to keep our child in her long enough that he could get to an age where, when born, and it would be a premature birth, he would be able to survive the delivery. And at that time, it just so happened, I also had to go defend my doctoral dissertation. So at first I was incredibly overwhelmed. Oh my God, how can I possibly defend my dissertation when this is going on? I won't be able to focus. I won't be able to do a good job. I started doing all of the what ifs. I won't defend it, and I won't pass, and I won't get the degree done, and then I won't be able to get a job, and on and on and on and on and on. And then one evening, I remember thinking about this and being really, really anxious and upset. And then I was just mad. And that sort of turned into, I was annoyed. I had something far more important to do, and that was to be a husband and to be a father. And I had this nuisance, this annoying distraction called defend my dissertation. And it occurred to me, I was ready to do that. I knew how to do it. I had all the stuff and I had my notes. And so I sort of copped this attitude of, I just want to get this over. I am not going to give this any more time, attention, or worry than it deserves, because I've got this other thing that's far more important. And so I just kind of put it on autopilot, and I went and defended my dissertation. And I passed, and I got my degree, which was, I was happy, but what I was really thinking was, good, now I can get back and be with my wife. Now, like I said, that's a personal experience that I had, and it doesn't quite fit, but I think you get the idea that right now, all of these things that you need to get done that might be stressing you out, we understand. But you're going to get them done. They may not be your best work ever. So what? You still do good work. And contrary to mainstream American philosophy, sometimes good enough is good enough. There is enough good. There's just enough good, and you didn't waste any good trying to make something better than it needs to be. We are all good, competent professionals. We can get this work done. We don't need to worry as much about, are we doing the right thing, and will it all get yes, it will all get done, the same way we were getting it done before this virus came, because right now we have something much more important to worry about: life, family, friends, maybe the resultant change in the economy as our nation finds its way through. How do we adjust to this? So again, the purpose of this clip is just to kind of share the idea of just kind of shifting how you're thinking. My colleague Betsy Pierce did a clip you may have seen on reframing, and that's kind of what we're talking about here. Get your priorities lined up in your mind. What is it that you're really here to do in your time on this earth? And somewhere, I hope, towards the bottom of the list are those very essential work duties that we all have. I'm not saying blow it off. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm saying you're good. You've been doing this work a long time. You can probably do this work in your sleep. And so you don't need to add that to the anxiety that you're already having. So, yes, Yerkes Dodson, not a bad piece of information to carry around with you. I hope you all stay calm. I hope you all stay connected, and we will talk again.